Hello, I'm Zeitlin Perez.
And I'm Judy Solis, and welcome to Urban Lifestyle Media. We are officially back, still dealing with COVID-19, but as true New Yorkers, we face every tough situation.
Yes, indeed. And I hear that some of the toughest New Yorkers come from Brooklyn. And today we're coming from Eskina by CHEF PAPI, founded by a husband and wife team, Alex and Farida Mercedes, in collaboration with CHEF PAPI.
And I had the pleasure of sitting down with Farida to talk about this new gem here in Brooklyn. Welcome, Farida, to Urban Lifestyle Media.
We're
so excited to be here, especially when I have these plates in front of me.
Yes, I'm so
but thank you. Before we get to that, talk to me a little bit about your background. This is a really cool concept here. We have a food truck. We're in the Eskina. It's called Eskina. Talk to me about it.
Yes, absolutely. So we opened Eskina back in June. Before opening Eskina, actually, I was in corporate. I was in corporate for 20 years.
Wow.
And it was an exciting role that I was in. And due to the pandemic and having small children that I had to support at home, I made a very difficult decision to leave my role to take care of my family and take care of my children at school. A few months after, I realized that I was still missing something, and while I didn't want to go back into the corporate world, I wanted to do something that would allow me to kind of push on my creative juices, but I never thought that it would be in the restaurant business. My husband reached out to me over the phone and he's like, "Hon, what do you think if we open a food truck?" And I was like, "What?" I know nothing about the food business, but my husband was like, "You can do this, you can take it to the next level." And he likes to call me extra cheese. So he was like, "We're gonna get a food truck," and we actually ended up getting two. One that's actually stationed here at Eskina, and then another one that we do for corporate events and actually bring this beautiful food and savory food to your personal events.
Now, you speak about leaving your job during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's risky itself,
Yeah.
but what about actually opening up a business during a pandemic when so many businesses are getting shut down or closed?
Yeah.
How did you make that work?
So when we opened now in 2021, there were hopes. Everybody was being very positive and that things were moving in the right direction. So we wanted to basically capitalize on the opportunity where people were looking to go and find places to eat and get together that wasn't enclosed.
Yeah.
So that's why the food truck and then creating a space and an experience outdoors was ideal, because people still wanted to get together, but they were still wary with the COVID and the pandemic. So it was a great opportunity to basically leverage what was happening around us.
Yeah. Now, the vibes here are awesome because it reminds me of going to a chimney truck. So talk to me about, how did you end up with a food truck and you actually made it into this cool little concept playground where you still get to sit down and enjoy your meal, but it's almost self-serving? Talk to me about that.
Yes. So the food truck originally was supposed to be kind of self-serving. You order your food, you bring it out, you eat, and you take it out. And like I mentioned, I wanted something that was actually an experience for our customers. So working with Steven, CHEF PAPI, we created the idea of creating a space where people could basically create memories. We found this great spot that was on a corner. We decided to call it Eskina because it is on the corner, but we wanted to play on the word.
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm like, that's not spelled like Eskina.
Yes, so that's why it's spelled IZKINA.
Yeah.
It's actually a very small town in Spain. And I researched for a few days, and when I saw it, I was like, that's what we're gonna call it.
Awesome. And you did it at a perfect time where everybody wants to go outside.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody wants to hang out and socialize again.
Yes.
So I think it's the most coolest, perfect concept. Now talk to me about your collaboration with CHEF PAPI. Why CHEF PAPI?
Why CHEF PAPI? Well, interestingly enough, my husband actually had met him prior because they had done business together in the past. And when my husband came to me and said, "I found the perfect chef for our food truck," because I wasn't going to cook on the truck. I said, "Okay, let's meet him." I met him, and he is amazingly just humble, very passionate about making food. We were on the same level in regards to what we wanted to provide our customers and what we really wanted to create as an experience. And it just made sense for us. I wanted to feel him out. I think he felt the same way about us. And then we walked away feeling like, yes, this is going to be a good team.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I definitely look forward to eating all this food. The
Yes,
only
I hope you
reason,
do.
yes, of course. The
I hope
only
you
reason
do.
why I want to wrap up this interview is so I can eat.
Fair enough. I'll take you on that.
But let us know where we could find you.
Yes.
social media.
Yes.
Let the audience know.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, we are on Eskina, Brooklyn. We're here at 1282 Myrtle Avenue in the middle of Bushwick. And yeah, we're on Facebook. And you can find us on Eskina.com. So we're everywhere. Just look up Eskina, IZKINA.
Yes. The right way.
That's where you'll find us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Let's eat. Let's eat.
Hey, what are you doing here? I'm on my break. I cannot get enough of these empanadas. You know what? I'm not gonna do this segment. Yeah, I think you can take care of this one. Go ahead, girl.
Z, that looks delicious. Now, I know it's been a while since we've had a reason to step inside of a movie theater, but our friends at Spanglish Movies have 3 upcoming releases that are sure to make movie nights special again. Starting with Koati. Koati is the anticipated animated comedy featuring a family of exotic creatures from the South American rainforest in their biggest adventure ever, discovering anyone can be the hero of their own story. The film is produced by Sofia Vergara and Marc.
You know you can't hide from your past.
La Soga 2 is a suspenseful thriller and love story where a former hitman fights to rescue the love of his life while confronting his inner demons and violent past. The film's writer and star, Manny Perez, is making his directorial debut with this number.
Desapareció una mujer y ustedes no están buscándola.
No, señorita, nosotros estamos haciendo nuestro trabajo.
Perfect Host is Spanglish Movies' first original production. It's a sexy thriller starring international recording talent Pedro Capo and Mexican actress Sandra Echevarria. This film will be released in major U.S. markets and internationally. I am so excited to see these films. I think we need to do a girls' night out, huh, ladies?
Wow, that is quite the lineup. I cannot wait to see these films and support all these amazing and talented actors, producers, writers, directors, especially Manny Perez, who is always elevating the art form. But I am proudest of my co-host, Judy Solis. Oh my God, I hear that your show is creating quite the buzz online. Talk to us, tell us more.
Thank you, Z. Yes, on the next episode of Judys Eco Ventures, we speak with Joey Salamini, a vet nurse who travels around Latin America, volunteering her time to protect and rehabilitate wildlife. She is definitely the modern day Diane Fossey. I can't wait till you see this episode. Judy Solis here, and welcome to another episode of Judys Eco Ventures. And today we have a special guest, Joey Salamini, who is a vet nurse and travels around the world for conservation efforts. Now, I want to get started and just talk about how you decided to get into this field, your love for reptiles. I know you have a distinct love for reptiles.
Yes, I do.
And exotic animals.
So I've been obsessed with animals since as young as I can remember. Since I always say since I was old enough to formulate an independent thought,
Yeah.
I loved animals. And you know, that's all I spent my time doing. Even as a kid, I didn't really care for dolls or, you know, playing with other things. I was always outside catching frogs, feeding stray cats.
Yeah.
And then I just carried that with me throughout my life.
I've been to Colombia and I've done so much great work there, so I know how fulfilling that could be. Tell me about why you decided to travel to Latin America.
So my first time deciding to travel to Latin America was actually to Costa Rica in 2016. I went to a wildlife rescue center off the Pacific coast. It's like near a little town called Dominical. And so that was my first experience with it. And I did some work there, and it kind of just opened this whole new world for me.
Yeah.
Like it took off from there for me. And I just kept going back. I started to do research and found that there's so many wildlife sanctuaries all throughout Latin America, Central America, South America, and they work to preserve the rainforest and, more importantly, rescue and rehabilitate wildlife victims of trafficking.
Talk to me a little bit about wildlife trafficking. Is that mostly the cases you see when you're in Latin America?
About 90% of the cases that I work with are animals, mainly monkeys, dozens of species of monkeys, manatees, jaguars, ocelots, parrots, things like that that have been stolen from the wild. Usually they're babies that are stolen from their mothers and their mothers are killed. And then they're either sold as pets, they're sold as bushmeat, or they're sold to tourist companies that use them to attract tourists to take selfies with.
Wow. What type of animals were you working with in the Amazon?
So this time I was working primarily with monkeys, which is my focus now. I do mainly work with monkeys every time I go to a sanctuary. This place had several different species, so I was working with howler monkeys, woolly monkeys, dusky titi monkeys, tamarine monkeys.
What are all these differences? Wait, so there's like...
There's a lot.
Yes. Difference in what? In traits and habits and
everything.
Food and...
Their appearance, their behavior, their diet, where they live, how they behave, how they communicate.
God, that's so fascinating.
So my research is more geared towards how to prepare them for a successful release back into the wild. That's what I'm particularly passionate about because it's such a complicated thing to try and tackle for certain sanctuaries, or for most sanctuaries, or anyone who's rehabilitating primates. It's complicated. And so most of my research is how best to do that so that they can be released and they can be successful and they can, reproduce. And the whole point is to just keep the species of these monkeys in general going and healthy in the wild.
Tell me, what was it that you learned from that experience with their behavior that was just fascinating or that was different that you haven't learned before?
I was able to figure out who was the dominant, how hierarchy worked amongst them. I was able to figure out what their sounds mean to each other.
Now, if there's anything you want viewers to know, any way they can help, if we can help.
First of all, it's definitely be conscious of the content that you share and participate in online. There's a lot of videos and images going around of people interacting with animals that they shouldn't be. And that interaction, even if it is harmless, what it does is it helps fuel the industry of wildlife trafficking, because if you look at images, and this is a challenge, go online and look at images on Instagram with people who have posts that have a lot of followers. Look at the comments. You will definitely see people saying, I want to do that. I'm gonna buy a monkey.
For sure.
I'm gonna do that. And then you're just contributing to that whole business. And when you travel, try to avoid tourist companies and tourist excursions that allow you to interact with wildlife and take photos, especially with certain monkeys and especially with sloths.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joey, for being with us today and for sharing your journey. Please let the audience know where we can find you. Let them know how they can find out more about you.
Of course. You can follow me on Instagram at Joey of the Jungle. And then in the future, hopefully soon, you can follow my research on my website that I'm currently building. It's going to be junglerescuereform.org.
And of course, if you want to follow more of Judys Eco Ventures, be sure to tune in on Judy Soul TV. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on our Instagram. Same handle, Judy Soul TV, where we speak to more people like Joey.
He's like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's me. He's like, cheese.
We had such a great time here tonight at Eskina by CHEF PAPI. And of course, you never know who you're going to bump into.
That is so right. We have these two beauties straight from Colombia. She is an artist and fashion designer, and they are both preparing for their collection in the fall in October. It's Leah Samantha and her sister and manager, Eva Maria. So check them out for more information at Leah Samantha on Instagram. And thank you, sister, for always holding it down for us.
And of course, you know where to find us. Make sure you subscribe at ulmedia.net.
That's right, and always come back to Eskina by CHEF PAPI, Brooklyn, New York.
This episode of Urban Lifestyle Media is brought to you by NJ Pack's live presentation of salsa legend Gilberto Santa Rosa, happening Friday, October 29th, 2021. Get your tickets by visiting www.njpac.org.